I honestly don't like videos as much as you do, as much as I don't want to make videos like this. It's something I have to do as part of my job. So, it is a late night at 8, so I still have another 2 hours so before the file comes out to me. It is still not fully night. Now, we're gonna do this in the fastest one go. We're gonna do this all in one take. We're gonna be able to do this. Kurosai, what you're doing, absolutely intolerable. Absolutely intolerable. More like the same thing isn't equivalent to what you're doing right now. What you're doing now isn't the same thing, right? Run through my mind on daily. There's one reason I'm still here. Never send me from. So folks know the struggle, but you know people don't know half of it. Actually, interested in going to the doctor to see if I can outpace the medical debt I'm already trying to pay off. In all seriousness, the obvious solution is to shut that channel down, but that's too easy. In a crowd that's been praying for my downfall for a decade wins. I purposely do the majority of the work in the house just to feel in control and imbue the Cinderella story. Then he says this, so he wants you dead because of AI. This was sent to me just now while I was live streaming. 8 hours into live stream, by the way. Who spends 8 hours on soulless content? I thought it was easy. I can absolutely debunk that. There's nothing to do with around how easy and hard things are. I think that is absolutely, and I absolutely disagree with what you're saying here. Now, this isn't substantial coming from me. So rather than saying my personal emotions on whatever Kurosai is doing, we're bringing in the facts. As always, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Like the video, click this anywhere else. But besides crashing out, I've already went to all sorts of the actions to take with Kurosai, archiving as much as possible while he was doing this thing he was doing on stream, right? He's responding to lots of comments since then. Has made a lot of really terrible remarks, takes that don't make any sense. And some of the photos have changed, right? His photo has changed. He's changed his profile. His username's the same. His display name is not the same. He's talking about AI. The AI usage isn't the same. And supposedly he is definitely expressing lots of conservative values when it's about AI. If this is supposed to be democratic, it doesn't look democratic. It doesn't even look center. So this is past politics, it's past AI. It's clearly something he's doing. He's clearly crashing out. He's posting a lot more content than usual. We know about that, and this has been going on for a while. Obviously, it isn't a build-up of a random shred. Obviously, his current subscriber count isn't doing well, and people are confronting him in the comments. Then he tries to side up with an AI stand, saying shit about, of course AI art isn't art. How dare AI make the same image in seconds for free instead of the real artists that make hours and charge hundreds. Absolutely untrue, absolutely fictitious, not even proven by data. Most artists actually do artworks for free much more than the commissions that they've been made. Currently in the creative industry, it is proven that many people are drawing art mainly for free on their own terms, without having any sort of thing that's related to licensing and commissions. Most commission arts done by artists are done in large numbers, but don't equivocally fit in with terms like charging hundreds and making hours on work, right? It's not the same thing. There's a thing to do with commissions, and there's a thing to do with personal art. Then he goes down a rabbit hole, right? AI stand. How these artists call themselves real artists when they can undo a mistake with Kurosai, while real painters need to fix a mistake with actual effort. You actually don't even know how art works at this point, because debating somebody who's really stupid and doesn't understand how art works, digital art is the same. Digital art and traditional art don't have the same premise. Digital art, traditional art have disadvantages and advantages on both ends. Now, painters, you confuse with only artists. There are things other than painters. You're stupid and you're retarded. First, let me get this out of the way. Digital art don't have the same properties, and it is based on software ability, based on how many updates and options that you can do. This is something that you can achieve with Krita, which is a free to access software where you can make art for free if only you put time into it. Painters, by the way, don't also have to be from the surrealism era, and they obviously don't have to be from the modern surrealism classical era either. They don't have to be those. And by the way, how these painters call themselves real artists and buy paints on the store. What are you talking about? You don't have to buy specific paints from the stores that actually differentiates between every artist. By the way, there's more things other than just artists that you can use a role with in this, but we're gonna talk about that another day. I'm generally curious as how all these people think their opinion worth a shred. Art came from creativity, not from the medium you use. Do you even know what this guy absolutely doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You can clearly see he hasn't taken English class. Art came from creativity. He says that and then contradicts it himself by saying something that absolutely has no correlation and makes absolute no sense. Unfortunately, that's how it's working. It says, not from the medium you use. Do you know what an art medium is? Let me help you discover what that is supposed to be. What art medium is the materials or substances an artist uses to create a work of art, such as paint, clay, digital tools. It also refers to the type of art itself, encompassing broad categories like painting, sculpture, photography. The choice of medium significantly influences the final look, texture, and emotional impact of it, and you can discover this and happen to know that we're talking all sorts of different other things, right? And then A artists are stereo artists. No, you're not artists. You actually don't even know. Fun fact, what I can ask myself for you AI stans is, what exactly does the AI replace when it comes to art? You absolutely have no fucking idea, because so clearly from how the guy spells and writes sentences, I don't even think they're sentences, he clearly doesn't know what AI actually replaces. So here's one thing you learn about art when you become an actual artist, right? A traditional artist or a digital artist. When you learn how to do art and to talk to you, and I'm going to talk to you as if you're a kindergartner. When you learn about art, there are things you learn in art that AI must know how to do in order to be able to do actions it does, right? What it does actually doesn't find reason or purpose for. All it does is message a lot of different sorts of data from many filters that we can go about AI Gen, and we can go about Flux, we can go about sorts of different models and styles that actually aren't styles, merely more data clump. We can go all day about that. Then he says, you just mad and don't like it because they take share from the pie. What is that supposed to mean? Fortunately, I debunked a point that missed people actually. I debunked something related to art, right? AI images aren't AI art, right? Because seemingly people don't even know what the full art's supposed to mean. So we'll exactly tell you what AI gets wrong in art. Most untrained multi-millionaires, entrepreneurs, and AI stans can't seem to figure out. We're doing this on a quick notice that Kurosai is acting as I speak, so whatever minute I spend is going to be lost for every action he does. Everything he does to delete comments, he's saying he's going to delete comments. Everything I do and say here will be extremely valuable to what happens later on in the future. And remind you, Kurosai, nothing to do with your medical debt excuses your behavior online, right? That's not an excuse. And if you claim all that you know about, hey, I've been around 2007, 2017, all sorts of crazy shit, your account being made 2012, and all your other profiles online that you've made, which I've also happened to find and land upon, that doesn't say shit about your background. Here's what AI gets wrong in art. Here's a list. Bad fingers, and this goes for professional and amateur equally because emphasis matters. Inconsistent strokes and strange empty spots and curves or objects that fade into the sky or ground. Lighting is abstract, no elements or story to the work, lack of interest and stroke depth like styling a stroke, which every artist has amateur or expert, right? There is inconsistency with the subject material across posts or photos. The picture is a specific resolution. The artist has no background. The picture has a terrible background. The setting is terribly composed and the colors fractured. The blur is improper. The pupils are distorted while the face is refined and the hair bangs distorted slightly. The style is purely anime and the artist has inconsistent symbolism. The art has no consistent remarks of previous works. The artist can't do commissions of very specific details for my Sketchicon AI image makers out there. You have low standards for art out there. Get out of here. You are really lenient about contextual elements in art and forget them all. The artwork has an AI watermark from an AI app or is cropped irregularly across different posts. Tools and weapons are straight up molded blocks of lines vaguely representing a weapon's contour. Instruments aren't accurately drawn. There's bad rim lighting. Smear lighting is excessively used. Yeah, eye size and expression is the same 3/4 angle over and over. Textures or puzzle pieces are very vague. You could probably reverse search these. We can continue. Now, it says, your comments will be permanently hidden if you tell me to take a break, so line up and stare down the bear if you want. Email me if you want to talk later after I've blown your face off in Minecraft. ddaydrink985gmail.com. So we're gonna feel free to send them this again. I don't have a problem with AI, but raising constructive hostility, I'm good, chief. Yeah, he's not proving anything. So as I'm speaking, he's also said, archiving replies to comments that I will delete. I need to control the narrative on my channel. The idea that I've lost my mind will not be tolerated. Why are you using Donald Trump as the very response image for this Indela? If you're making some sort of dark humorous joke with Donald Trump, which you know obviously is losing his mind online as it is recent, I think that's a very genius use of a dark joke, but nothing about the AI Donald Trump and your behavior in medical depth has anything to do with an excuse to build a substantial clause against some of your very viewers who have absolutely no information on what's going on your end to the personal standpoint and the personal value. You're misdirecting everybody. So he says, I have always been disturbed and I am just being more public about it. It is a low-hanging fruit narrative that allows people to make sense of my radical actions. This is not gonna go well. If the comments about me losing my mind receive too much coverage, I will remove them because they are poisoning the well. I'm not a major news outlet. What? Who said major news outlet? You can read all about that from the comments that talk about it, which are none, by the way. Nobody ever talks about major news outlet, but they do talk about AI and him losing it, which is true. I can't say that is wrong. I can censor anyone I want in my house because there's no freedom of speech without consequences. I'm assuming he's talking about his YouTube channel, not his actual home. If you do that in your home, technically you're harboring and kidnapping people, but I don't know about the house situation, so I can't make any takes on those. He also then says, I promise you that you haven't seen the crash shot yet. It can get a lot worse as I've done many more extreme things. If this is a bare minimum, then you're committing acts of cyberbullying and harassment. You're spewing a toxic hate train machine, and you are falling into the very victim of what you think you aren't. Right now, you're defining it more with every action you do. How so? You're acting on it. You're not speaking only about it. You're acting on it. And then he says, it only is when the dust settles that you will know who really stands with you. I ask that people who will be here to support me no matter what. I ask that the people who will... He's not even using proper grammar. Be patient as I fight more than just mere demons. I don't need 400,000 subscribers, but just 4 strong allies and we could work magic. I don't think derailing your own channel has anything to do with working magic. If it is your friend or cousins, it doesn't matter who. That is clearly signs of resentment and pathological corruption. A lot of vague argument points, leaving something that doesn't leave any sort of substance that can be worked with for your fan base, whatever you think is even your fan base now, knowing that I'm a content creator who's been around for a while myself, though I know much more history than you and much more context around music and art than you combined. Actually, by the time I'm your age, I'll probably be way ahead of you, but that isn't the point. What is making me concerned is the fact he's unlisting such a stream that I was able to watch happen, and I acted. By the way, I acted. I made screenshots showing what went on, and yes, the guy is definitely going down in the bridge breakdown. How much of this video would be cropped out? Probably a lot. Now, if you enjoy videos like these, not me doing this to people, videos like these. I'm also gonna assume he's gonna delete my comments by then. He's gonna delete it. He says whatever makes me look really dumb will be removed. So I'll take that as he's gonna delete my comments. He says, "Are you a tool, artist, or a human?" All right. What is he making now?
My God!
What could he be
how
working
will I
on?
get work?
Right. Let's see what he has for us. He's made a new video.
God, how will I get work? I am an artist, and all these authors are making book covers out of AI art, and they're stealing bread from my mouth. And we need to boycott them and shame them so we don't do this. Well, the problem you have there is that you have defined yourself as a tool.
What is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be something that's preparing this fight for 3 years? You're becoming free? I agree. I agree. I agree with everything you are saying. Totally. No, I don't. But let's continue. Let's see what this audio clip he took from an audio somewhere. I know about this. There's people out. There's obviously me out there on the AI side of things. Let's see what else he has. What else this audio has to say.
Don't be a tool. When you
Right.
say, I am an artist, that is a self limiting belief
Mm.
because you have defined yourself in terms of this one capability.
That's absolutely incorrect. Let me first explain this. An artist is a person who creates art or practices one of the creative arts such as painting, music, dance, or writing. The term emphasizes imagination, skill, and a unique personal vision to produce works of aesthetic value, though definitions can be varied based on context. Artists use a range of mediums and techniques to express emotions, ideas, and experiences which can be expressed through sentences. So this absolutely debunks what the guy is saying. Art is not a philosophy, it is merely a form of way to express yourself, and it also emphasizes imagination. If you're saying, but you took this from an AI, you're absolutely true. I searched this up, and this is what an AI had to say about art, though it came from an AI. Fortunately, I am the Projectian. I'm somebody who has a really strictly heavy background. I have a heavy background on certain things. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this in a different context, right? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something that I took in an image of before a long time ago. Right. Let me open what this is. Right. Let me remind people what this is because seemingly they don't know what the fuck they're talking about these days. Right. People clearly don't understand what is going on. So we're going to. Okay. Let me see.
And now you are threatened by the existence of a tool that has that same capability because
No, the tool doesn't have the same capability. Alright, here is an example of what AI gets wrong in art. Oh wait, I've already explained all of this, and there are sources here explaining why AI imagery isn't the same as art. It specifically says that it can come in traditional and digital forms of magnitude that can be solely interpreted in different ways coming from different sorts of people from different backgrounds, eras. By the way, I bet Kurosai doesn't even have a clue along with the audio when art even started, which is quite vague by the way. It's actually quite vague. You actually can't pinpoint when exactly it came. You're only going to be able to see publicly recorded data on when it appeared. And for what many people miss, AI imagery is not art if you want to constitute as art, because then we'll have to ask you the question, what constitutes as something that the AI comes interpreted as in the context of a tool that exactly replaces functions and abilities that an artist would but prior need have done if it were generated in a different way. AI generated literally has generation in its definition. It is a machine. And if you're going, but what if it aids you and makes it come out faster? You begin to suddenly see that there are many things that AI would end up getting you liable for later on in the future with the new copyright claims and cases and lawsuits that are occurring as I'm speaking about AI, right? AI generated content This comes for all sorts of AI content. Actually, you can't put copyright on it because it's heavily vague. In most pop music and most mainstream art, along with mainstream writing and publishing companies, you'll begin to figure out that there's a lot more fraud going on in the AI scene compared to the normal traditional scene of how you think content creation is supposed to be, right? Here we go. I'm literally using AI overview so you can listen to me a lot more easily because you said the AI is everything to you. So I'm going to give it to you from an AI itself. Freedom of speech is not protected when it involves specific categories of expression such as incitement to imminent lawless action, true threats, fighting words and defamation, obscenity, fraud, and speech integral to criminal conduct. Additionally, speech in certain contexts like student speech at school-sponsored events or commercial speech receive less protection under First Amendment than other forms of expression. Here is one example. Categories of unprotected speech: incitement to imminent lawless action. Speech that is intended to and likely to cause immediate illegal behavior is not protected. True threats. Statements communicating a serious intent to commit an act of unlawful violence to a person group is not protected. Fighting words. Face-to-face abusive language that is likely to provoke an immediate violent reaction of breach of peace is not protected. Right? Defamation is false statements that harm another person's reputation are not protected and can lead to lawsuits. Obscenity. Material that appeals to a proven interest in blah blah blah, depicts blah blah blah, conduct in an offensive way and lacks serious artistic, literal, political, or scientific value is not protected, right? When it lacks any of sorts of elements. And it similarly right here says artistic, literally, political, and scientific value is not protected, right? When it lacks any of these, right? When it becomes obscene. A better word for what you were doing this entire time is obscene. You're inciting lots of it, and you're committing this so that you get threats coming for you, and you're using fighting words. Then, lying to investigators and engaging in dishonest commercial advertising is not protected speech. You were promoting originally on your stream, by the way, which I can find for you. On the stream, you were making remarks about the use of AI, right? But you were also remarking the use of the promotion of a company, right? You were promoting a company, right? Let me make this bigger for you. It says, why not chat while I work on AI content? I've recently been recruited by an AI startup company in November last year. Our current project is called What-If.art. It allows you to create anime fan fiction with the power of AI. And he from his playlist. For my project by visiting this and that, right? He puts in all socials for it, right? But why the hell does he unlist the video if he clearly wants to promote this AI company, right? This AI startup company. Most AI startup companies, by the way, fail. It is factually proven. We hope to scale up to be one of the leading pioneers of AI anime and giving people the tools to make their own anime. Use this link to donate so YouTube can take 30, and he has a Streamlabs link where it shows that he wants to receive donations from. You're clearly making a fraud, and you're completely promoting a very fishy company, right? With there's a fishy affiliate link thing going on. You have a context open. And again, freedom of speech is only protected until when it is considered to be illegal. Freedom of speech is no longer protected. Then we have Content House. I'm trying to create an online content house where everyone involved pitches and hours of production of a diverse range of projects that we collectively choose to work on together. These projects can be rather used in nature and scope and not necessarily have to be anime related. It's important to clarify that this is just an editing job. I'm seeking partners, collaborators rather than employees. The goal is for everyone involved to benefit from this collaboration. And you can tell that the first paragraph is obviously very lean onto AI writing. Then he said he had to unlist the video, right? We still have to remember he unlisted the video. He said, then here are comments showing up on his stream that he unprivated. I'll show you screenshots of it. He says, minus 2,000 subs and counting. Keep it coming. Don't announcement your departure batch. Just get the fallout. He says, then a comment says, bro is responding to old comments, but honestly it's kind of useless. And his bot Rix, his bot Rix is just being bot Rix. Then he says, fly in the chat. I don't like Grammarly. It tracks all of your data and gives suggestions that make your words less personalized and unique. Then he says, Kurosai is based as for the haters. This guy came out of nowhere. No connection. Then it says, it also prevents you from getting in the habit of typing right in the first place without making mistakes or having to correct yourself. Holy cow, dude, have you slept? I don't hate the change, but it's just weird seeing him crash out on everybody. Kurosai AI was in the name all along. And then mic check. Okay, let me finally get to my part. It says, mic check. Why is audio like that? Is it an upgrade AI upgrade. Then I said, he can't even spell right. Why do users do that these days? All you have to do is backtrack the letters before proceeding. Description is also AI generated and contains AI writing, which it does at the top. The audio needs to be fixed as well. I wear headphones, but it must be bugged right now on his end. And then he says, and then someone says, ICL, this is a generational fall off of your content. It was mad funny and I personally didn't care about AI, but this low-key feels like an intention crave at this point. Then Sony says, it's sad he could have used this time to spend to do something more useful, right? The guy isn't using grammar anyways, but you can forget about that. Then Sony, I say, does he know the audio's fractured? Sony says, see ya chat. He literally stops the stream. Unfortunately for him, I've archived the stream already. So, it says, I feel like he doesn't care for his channel anymore. He uses it for expressing his anger, I think, much more. Absolutely true. Then it says, what the fuck is he on now? What is this entire dilemma with the stream that might be, it's gonna get archived later, right? I want to know about the dilemma. Then he says, the best way to beat these people is to let the results speak for themselves. Frel, even if you get crazy success, you will still have comments like this. I just don't see the point. True. And then I say, why are the cursors and AI generated writing all over the place in the tags and descriptions along with the vague affiliate links? Why is this all over the place? What is the abstractly placed functions on your deck? Then it says, I say by the way, he's also using another feature. Why is he doing the scoping and letter selections? Then Sony says, does he even know he's live? He started the stream of fun a long time ago, I say. The audio is scuffed, bro, we can't hear anything, right? Then I mention all sorts of all the things wrong about the stream. Then it says, sounds like a mic or filter that intentionally makes it sound like that to avoid copyright issues. I had a mic sound exactly like this. That's the truth. And then somebody says, big dog, you can just full send the comment. I see it. LMFAO, right? Nothing my filling bum off. Then someone says, let's go, I gotta harmonize this complete. People were making a joke out of this and they also couldn't believe what he was doing. Then I said, what is he even trying to do? And Sony says, not the Mike Tyson legacy clip, because he was literally editing videos as he was streaming. He was editing and making videos. He's posting it. And then he says, probably making a short to reply to that comment. Yeah, that was true. He made a video recently with Mike Tyson in it. That was like half an hour ago. Well, an hour ago currently. And then somebody says, did it end? I think he realized he was live. No, he knew he was live, which was finally, I can confirm it to you previously in this video, like 20 minutes ago. Recording's gonna be shorter though. And then I say about this, the stream definitely looks way off. What is random? Somebody asks me, and then somebody says, yeah, this is quite weird. And somebody says, part of the crash out maybe, and then I say monitor switching before the comment isn't receiving the attention, but it is there. And then it says, unopponent, but it's brazen constructive hostility on good truth. And the guy isn't wrong, right? The brazen unconstructive hostility. That's a good way to say it. Now, I don't know if his AI is going to be able to catch up, but have it the. And then somebody says, what the hell is this mental breakdown? Dude wants to be a lolcow so bad. Bunny wants to know what that is. This is this. Kiwi Farms, Wikipedia. What is a lolcow? Targets of harassment are referred to on the forum as lolcows, named after the idea that they can be milked for laughs. It's becoming the very thing he despises. It is an internet slang and is derogatory in internet, a locale. That's what it is. A person whose eccentric or foolish behavior can be exploited to amuse onlookers. It's become the very thing. This has happened overnight, which is insane, by the way. I think I'm seeing a historical crash out because this is from a large content creator. This guy is large in TV reviews. He has a lot that's going on. He's on his YouTube channel mainly. I'm assuming he's moving to his Discord and his other stuff, and his links are seemingly still here. He has AI littered across it. I'll be giving you an update on this later on. This video's taking forever. It's gonna be edited by me anyways. If you enjoy videos like these, please leave a like. As always, if you like reportive journalism like this, by the way, make sure to use AI so that my fellow AI stan Kurosai texts me a lot more easily whenever he does make a response, if he even sees this video, but I'm afraid he won't be. He won't be even sane enough to respond properly. So with that said, this is the project in. We inform leaders these days. We need things are going haywire at the moment. Besides Chibi Reviews, which I've recently exposed, and West Farm, which I've recently exposed, Kurosai Breakdown is going through shred. It's not going well. I don't think what he's doing is tolerable. It's not ethical. It is unconstructive. It is hostile. It is definitely promoting really terrible factors. There is a really scummy affiliate marketing going on. We know about all of this. He's clearly saying he's going to show hostility back, harboring and inciting violent, comments to be made, because there are some people who have nothing else better in their day. So that's why this video would be something based on me taking this as he's generally having a crash out, and he's a large name, and he's only crashing out much more publicly, and we can go back to prove this. You can see a large change. 2 days ago, right? This stuff, right? All of this. You can literally look at him. You can look at this, right? You probably want me to analyze this, so that's my job. So you're probably gonna go, what is this all about? So to leave this video on the final remark, this is AI generated. It's obviously AI generated. It's garbage. Letters are phasing. I mentioned that in what makes AI image stand out. There's vague shapes going on with the badge. It's not consistent. There's overblending. The shadow isn't correct. The shadow's supposed to be down here, not there. It's supposed to be over here, right? That's right. The buttons are meshed. They're blending. There's an inconsistent stroke structure. The words don't make any sense. The badge is absolutely incorrect. You can search up Los Angeles badge. You can search up Detroit. You can search up Oklahoma Police Department deputy badges. You can find out online. The mouth is wrong. It's obviously pigmented wrong. The edges are consistent. Then flip the image, by the way, flip the image with an image editor and you'll figure it out real quickly. And the shoulders cut off very early on. Most polices have their shoulder length sleeves much more lower than this, but some people would rather have them shorter. And obviously the neck and the face is wrong. It's obviously even not even shaded right. That's supposed to not be there. The ears are molding and the hair isn't even properly distributed on the face correctly, and the face fringes is wrong. The tearing and stretching of the skin is wrong. The eyes aren't even consistent either, and there's a lot of pixels, and it is obviously in 1:1 ratio. So before any of that, before I go on, anyways, I think that'll be it. Kurosai, you need to chill.